This is my scheduler program. The way it works is it has a class which contains all the functions that interact with the database here. Or rather, the way it works is you have a database and you have a program which interacts with it. You interact with the database specifically by creating instances of the scheduler class. The scheduler class contains all of the functions to basically modify and get stuff from the table. The way you and down below we have the actual method through which we use this class. So it creates an instance of the scheduler class, and then asks if you want a new table or not. So basically, do you want to create a fresh schedule? If so, it will call the delete table, which will get rid of the old one, and it will create a new one in its place. If not, it does nothing. And then it goes on to the core of the program, which is the loop. So basically, while the continue is true, it continually asks the user for commands, basically. These commands are, as I will show you here. Do you want to create a fresh table? Let's say yes. So it gets a fresh table. And then we're given the options here to add, remove, edit, search, list, and days. So what add does, it lets you add entries to the database, which is based on date, time, and event. That is how the calendar records events. You have the option to remove based on index. When you type remove, it will also show you it will list all the events so that you can just find the one that you want to remove. Same thing for edit. When you call it, it lists all of the events so that you can see which one you don't want to, or so you can type the index of the one you want to change, and then it gives you options to change it. The search gives you options to search by date, time, and event, or by some combination of those, albeit it can only be by two at the same time. So it searches by the item, which is date, time, or event, and by the value that you input for that item. You can also search by only one item and one value, but it must be at least 1 and 2. The list just lists all of the events, and the days counts the number of items for each day. So if I was to demonstrate the use of this in a function, I would, for example, add some entries. So let's add the date. Let's just use today, 5/15/2023. Or no, has to be in this specific format, which is 2023 05/15. What time will it happen? Let's say now 3:44. What is the event? Testing. And let's add another one. Let's get the same date. And let's set this one to 350 or something. And we can also make this testing. So now, let's say we list everything. It lists all of the entries in the database. And let's say we get the days. I'll get days. And it tells us that on this day specifically, there's 2 entries. Now, the last thing you do is when you end the data, or when you close the program or end the program, get out of the loop, it lists all of the items that you have for the current day and the one after, depending. So it actually changes depending on what day you run the program on. So these are the entries that are in the next 2 days. All of this is done by calling functions in the scheduler class, which contain SQL commands, and passing in some information which comes as input to put into the database.